This harkens back to a story from earlier this year with not so much of a prominent, but an MLB pitcher. He used to pitch for Toronto, and they ended up getting cut because, well, he had some base takes, but then also, the inner latent cuck did come out, and he decided to capitulate to the mob. But no. He had a wife, obviously, well, still does, and also has a couple of kids that were running afoul, acting up on an airplane and causing excessive mess. And, well, the flight crew asked the wife, oh, she was pregnant at the time, that makes a big difference. Clean up after your kids. They were completely and totally ruining this flight for several other people. She ended up getting into a big stink. Some people took their side, and other people with common sense was like, no, if they act up in public, you're not entitled to ruining everybody else's experience just because you got proof that you banged your husband. Like, what are we doing out here? Who cares, man? Like, I see this type of entitled behavior from women every time that I go outside for a run, okay? I can always guarantee somebody who's not going to share the sidewalk is somebody pushing a stroller thinking that, what, I need to take responsibility just because you caught a load a few years ago? Like, I don't think so, bitch. Move. Get out the way. Be lucky I'm not stretching at the same time. You don't catch one of these, lariats. So I see a situation like this, and it's like, no, this all totally makes sense. But a mom slams Georgia restaurant Toccoa Riverside after charging her $50 for being unable to parent her badly behaved children. Totally makes sense, man. Okay, if you're going to go ahead and ruin everybody's experience at this, well, it's not a chain restaurant, so you kind of have an air of class here in some form or fashion. And I'd imagine that it probably was, this fee that was affixed to your bill probably was precipitated by several advisements to, hey, go ahead and look after your kids. So let's see what we have here. A couple was left stunned and now venting after a Georgia restaurant added a $50 unable to parent surcharge based to their bill over their loud children's alleged bad behavior. Lyndsey with a Y. Landmann and husband Kyle. Well, of course, we kind of know where the masculinity is on this one if the guy is listed second. Slammed Toccoa River Restaurant in Blue Ridge, with Kyle taking to Google 2 weeks ago and leaving a review saying he was disappointed by the experience. If that's the best that you can do, you deserve to get shit on like you are right now.
The owner came out and told me he was adding $50 to my bill because of my children's behavior, he wrote. My kids watched a tablet until the food arrived, ate their food, my wife took them outside while I waited and paid the bill.
Yeah, you're leaving out a large swath of this, and he was probably writing this with the bitch leaning over his shoulder. We all fucking know this situation. Kyle's wife, Lyndsey, told Today, it's hilarious, this dude writes a review on Google, she gets a spot on the Today Show. Interesting. That she was appalled and insisted her brood was well behaved. Total cap. The Florida couple was with their 3 young boys and 4 other families. 11 children sat at the table, ranging from 3 to 8 years old. You had a restaurant. Yeah, I'd imagine all 3 to 8-year-old. Okay, like if he wasn't a round-headed degenerate and she wasn't a blonde-haired Karen, I would totally believe that they were well behaved and that this was just a restaurant trying to take advantage of the situation. But let's be completely honest, okay? The kids were acting up. We kind of know this, okay? This wouldn't be discussing a story that was totally and completely farcical, and he wouldn't have just cucked to that and just paid it, okay? Because you can see the lovelessness in her eyes, even though that this is a staged photo. Like, yo, man, she wants nothing to do with that dude. Okay, so it's Toccoa Riverside Restaurant, Blue Ridge, Georgia. Yeah, it looks fine or something like that. The owner, Tim Richter, said the children were being too loud and were running around unsupervised. That would be a problem, guys. Is it a fair... Okay, is the bad behavior surcharge fair? I believe so. Oh, 80%. Wow, Matt. 21%? No, that's not enough. You don't know how difficult it is to be a parent. The kids were sitting at one end of the table and they were being so good, Landmann said. I even commented halfway through the meal, oh my god, I can't believe how well behaved they are, and then everybody clapped. After dessert, some of the parents took their children down to the water to drown them. And then the restaurant owner, Tim Richter, approached Landmann and said, wow, this is totally absent from the review that wasn't televised, but okay. Richter told the party about the additional charge on the menu, which reads adult surcharge for adults unable to parent. be respectful to staff, property, and self. No respect, no service. But she ended up getting service. It just cost you $50. Landmann said that she was expecting a compliment and to be, oh my God, entitled bitch. I fucking hate her. And told they wouldn't be charged. But Richter said that there would be a $50 added to each bill at their table. Well, this could be very easily verifiable. What about those other families? You said that there were 4 other families there as well, so go ahead, show the receipts. When Landmann asked for an explanation, she claimed Richter told her they were being too loud. He was angry that the kids were running around outside, even though they were chaperoned by adults, she said. Yeah, I guess some things aren't really adding up. Yeah, they were running around outside, probably underneath the porch that was overlooking the river that it's the side to. And there were probably tables out there. Are we also going to go ahead and address that? Maybe, potentially? I was like, they were quiet the whole time. He got in our faces and told us that we belonged at Burger King and not his restaurant. This is something that totally, definitely happened. We asked to speak to the owner, and he said he was the owner. Oh my God, a line that she has used multiple times. Somebody asked me to speak to the manager, and I said, I am the manager. I looked around at the restaurant, and everyone was frozen watching this show. Oh my God, bitch, you are not the main character. This is not your hero's journey right here. I don't believe any of this shit happened. The show he was putting on, he was yelling, I'm sure. Yeah, and 18% of the gratuity will be added to the parties over 6. Yeah, that's the thing that I actually don't like at all that's on here. Cash discount, that totally makes sense. Wi-Fi, you're at a restaurant. What the fuck do you need Wi-Fi for? But anyways, yeah, gratuity of 18% is just going to be added, and it's like tipping culture. That's another video that I'd like to do as well because it's getting completely and totally out of whack. But yeah, that guy has no frame, okay? She legitimately couldn't care less about him. Like, could you find any picture where they actually look like they have chemistry? But yeah, kids were running around outside. I'm going to take a wild guess. They were probably running around right there. And oh yeah, they were being supervised by the parents who were probably sitting at one of these tables. Like, come on, man. We can already, fill in the blanks that she is definitely leaving out here. Come on, man. Come on. Like, it doesn't look like, like a 5-star dining or anything like that. It looks like it's fairly casual affair. But then at the same time, those people also have a right to somewhat peaceful experience. Like, you're obviously not allowed to, or you're not entitled to dead silence when you're going out in public to eat. But at the same time, being interrupted, well, that's the responsibility of the establishment to go ahead and manage as best as possible, and that's what they're doing right here as far as I can tell. Richter declined to appear on camera, but told Channel 2 News he implemented the surcharge a few years ago during the pandemic. Okay, now he's starting to seem like a scumbag, but okay. The 61-year-old said they never threatened to charge anyone until a couple of weeks ago when the family visited, whose 9 children were running all over the restaurant. Different we have here. Richter said he never actually charged the family, only giving them a warning, and added, we want parents to be parents. Because see, he would also be able to back up those claims because he would have to account for all of that stuff because he's a business owner, not a clout-chasing bitch. However, several other Google reviews blasted the quality of the service and the owner's attitude, but not providing any evidence that they were actually there. Okay, Richter said, we want parents to be parents. Yeah, exactly. Including one that warns diners with children to steer clear. Thank you. You're actually doing everybody a favor by saying that. We were 3 adults, 2 children, and a 4-month-old baby. And since we entered to the place, they gave us a bad look, one illiterate asshole wrote. Later, my wife was rocking the baby, not crying, just making him sleep. And this manager told her to do that, or that you don't do that in a fancy restaurant. Another thing I totally believe happened. Of course, this was not a fancy restaurant. And later, moved our stroller in a bad way. It was probably in the middle of the road, and it's like, excuse me, can you move this? Because it's, we got trays of food going to the different places because this is a restaurant, not a fucking daycare. One woman who claimed to have been to the restaurant. Oh, she claimed, guys. We got to listen. Shut up. Listen and believe. We got a woman talking. I also have been on the waitress side of this. Your $5 tip isn't worth the headache of listening to your child scream, throw food or trash on the floor table, or it's someone else. Why not control your child or eat at home? Yeah, you're embellishing this from the other direction. I'm sure that you've probably seen something like this, but now you're just getting into the, the nitty gritty when it comes to Google comments on something like that. But I think what's kind of getting buried, okay, in here is the lie that these brainlets had a $50 surcharge added to their bill, when in actuality they didn't get charged for anything, but they could now for defamation. And that right there will be a little bit more than that $50 surcharge that your bitch wife ended up trumping up in order to get a spot on the Today Show. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.